I think it's very funny that the Republican Party is like running around being like, we must disavow socialism. Socialism is so dangerous. And then mere hours later, Donald Trump is like, I love socialism. Socialism is a great economic system, very different than capitalism. I like capitalism more, but socialism not so bad. Look at my little communist Zoran Mamdani.
Hours before Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani arrived in Washington for his first meeting with President Trump, the House of Representatives passed a bipartisan resolution condemning the, quote, horrors of socialism.
Let's find out more about this. Political reporter Marcia Kramer joins us once again to tell us the details. Marcia?
Okay, Jay and Dick. Far be it from me to be a conspiracy theorist, but it was probably no accident that the House voted to condemn socialism on the very day New York City's mayor-elect, a Democratic socialist, met with President Trump at the White House. Now listen to this. The resolution was introduced nearly a month ago, but Republicans decided to bring it to the floor for a vote today.
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
Standing next to President Trump in the Oval Office, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani batted away a question about a resolution passed by the House that decried the horrors of socialism. The resolution was voted on just as Mamdani was arriving in Washington to meet with the president.
A yes vote on this resolution should be a relatively straightforward, easy decision. It simply states that Congress denounces socialism in all its forms and opposes the implementations of socialist policies in the United States of America.
The resolution passed in a bipartisan vote of 285 to 98, but it was particularly embarrassing to the newly elected mayor because among the 86 Democrats who supported the measure were 14 congressmen from New York.
Please don't go to the horse race. Animal racing is incredibly cruel. I used to work in a dog racing at the winning level. Animal racing is bad. I don't know if you know this, but I am a horseback rider. I did professional show jumping. Like I had a horse. I can't speak for dog racing. I'm not entirely familiar with it, but Umama Sume's biggest hater. Yeah. Until you got fat, respectively. No, not until I got fat. What is happening here? What the f is going on? You can't just say until you got fat and then slap on respectively at the end of it. I wasn't a jockey. I was a show jumper. Compared to American Horse Girl and Cat Lady, where do you put yourself? I'm more of a horse girl than a cat lady for sure. The fact that we just got out of the longest shutdown and both parties are wildly unpopular and they chose to do this, socialism got a massive boost for anyone. Yeah. Your own chat seems to bully you a lot. It's weird. I know.
Jersey. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who only endorsed Mamdani at the 11th hour of the mayor's race, voted with the Republicans to support the measure. Other New Yorkers who also supported the measure included Congressman Richie Torres of the Bronx, Greg Meeks and Grace Meng of Queens, and Laura Gillen and Tom Suozzi of Long Island. Suozzi made...
Animal racing puts the animal at risk of injury for what? I mean, every type of competition that has animals in it does that, but I don't know, maybe horse racing is worse.
Himself from Mamdani during the mayoral campaign. Among the Democrats voting against the measure was Congresswoman Maxine Waters.
I wish we were here on the House floor this morning debating solutions that would reduce grocery bills, lower housing costs.
Democrats still eat this bait for no reason, or not no reason because they're stupid, but it is unbearable. It is unbearable to watch the Democrats behave like this every single time. These guys say, oh, we're going to condemn socialism. And then Democrats end up going, yes, we're condemning socialism, thinking, yes, we're going to condemn socialism, thinking that this is going to cause the Republicans to turn around and be like, well, see, these Democrats are different. They're condemning socialism. They're not. They're not going to do that. They're saying socialism is bad, and they're reiterating it over and over again while simultaneously calling you socialist, you idiots. Oh my God. Under no circumstance does anybody actually turn around and go, oh, well, I guess Hakeem Jeffries is not a socialist anymore. They still think you're a socialist. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. They think this is how you lead a party without realizing that the base is leading and gonna leave them behind. Yeah, it's just... It creates anger and resentment even amongst the base of support for the Democrats now, unnecessarily. It also cooks. It also just like, it causes them to step on this. I'm not condemning socialism. What the f does this have to do with anything? Shut up. You call everything socialist. You call helping people, you call helping the working man socialist, and you want us to say it's a bad thing? We're the Democratic Party. Call it socialism, call it communism, call it whatever you want to call it. But we are here to defend the working class, is the unified approach to this sort of idiotic thing.
In Trump's tariffs strangling American small businesses and manufacturers, solve the Republican health care crisis, or any legislation that allows Americans to afford to live through the catastrophic economic policies of Trump and the Republicans.
Now, the measure was also supported by Staten Island Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, whose mother fled Cuba in 1959. Malliotakis said her mother left Cuba to avoid what she called, quote, the very things that our new socialist mayor in New York City says he wants.
Of course, the president does support now some of those policies. So that mixes up everything, doesn't it?
It does mix up everything.
Okay. Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you, Marcia.
If there is someone who has seen the horrors of socialism up close within the Democratic Party, is in the House, and it's the Honorable Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And I would love for you to support this resolution specifically, because Madam Waters, for decades, you traveled to Cuba dozens of times to visit Fidel Castro personally, whom you consider your friend. Congresswoman Waters was in Havana, and she saw the destruction of biblical proportions that Castro caused on that island, who at the time in 1960 had the highest per capita income in the Western Hemisphere. At that time, Madam Waters knew that thousands and thousands of Cubans were escaping on a raft, exposing their lives and their children to be eaten by the sharks. She knew that Afro-Cubans were being beaten on the streets of Havana, discriminated against by Fidel Castro, Mr. Speaker. And for that reason, I am bringing up all these facts, because Madam Waters knew that the Cuban jails were full of political prisoners, and the Cubans did not have the same privileges that we are having right now to speak freely. At that time, Madam Waters never raised her voice to denounce the horrors of socialism, Mr. Speaker. For that reason, I am asking Madam Waters.
For what purpose the lady from California seeks recognition?
I move to take her words down.
Order. The House will be in order. The lady from California, for what purpose do you rise?
I rise to take down her words.
Lady from Florida, please be seated. I'd ask the clerk to please report the words.
I think it's so funny. I think it's very funny that the Republican Party is like running around being like, we must disavow socialism. Socialism is so dangerous. And then mere hours later, Donald Trump is like, I love socialism. Socialism is a great economic system, very different than capitalism. I like capitalism more, but socialism not so bad. Look at my little communist, Zoran Mamdani. Very cool. He's very cool and handsome. Very, like,
is recognized.
He's awesome. Yeah, no, good job, Democrats. Glad that you guys actually took a position on this and then got outflanked by Donald Trump, who seems to have a better opinion about a socialist candidate than you do, even though he's supposed to be in your party. It is awesome. Something needs to be cleared up here. Cuba considers a huge number of crimes to be political crimes, including petty theft and drug use. That is why it seems like Cuba has 100,000 political prisoners or whatever. That free bringing up GDP when referring to Batista's regime is so deranged because they had slaves. Yeah, also tremendous amount of funds from the American government as well. This is the world's most confusing day for centrist Democrats who just voted to condemn socialism and then tried to sink Mamdani's campaign for months. Like, it almost feels like Donald Trump is actively trying to dagger the establishment Democrats today. Fantastic. Does Hasan stream on weekends usually? Yes, I do. Sorry, I have moments of quiet here because I'm trying to literally wrangle our entire team, many of which are still sleeping and not even remotely interested in going out to do an IRL stream because they were out doing an IRL stream at the bars until 4 a.m. last night, which is fine. But I'm trying to also figure out where we can stream and where we can't stream in terms of the IRL stream. Austin wants to do a live stream himself as well after mine. Why you sound mad about that? No, I'm not. I don't care. I can do all this stuff on my own. Unc was sleeping. Unc slept for 8 hours last night. I actually woke up at 4 a.m. and I didn't wake up until like 5:30. But now I'm glad I did that because no one else would have been awake at that time anyway. You got to go to that Australian breakfast restaurant. Hold on. Did you talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Just tuned in? Yes, I did.
For 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My blood pressure's up right now. I cannot believe just what I heard on the House floor. The ranking member of this distinguished committee denouncing Trump, but will not denounce socialism on the House floor of the U.S. House of Representatives. History is clear. Socialism
basketball
kills
stream or
people, leads
re-riot?
to deaths
I
of
want to
tens
do a
of
basketball
millions,
stream.
crushes religious liberty, and destroys free markets. Our founders built this nation on a revolutionary...
Socialism destroys precious liberty and denounces free markets. Nice. Not the free markets. I'm so angry right now, I could lose my mind. How dare you denounce the precious free markets? Fucking awesome. Thanks, man. Did you cover the New York mayoral election? Just tuned in? Yeah. Will Austin play b-ball, Hasan Avi? Austin is up. I think he wants to come out with me because he wants to do a live stream afterwards. I don't know if anyone else is trying to do it.